Greetings, Mavericks and new viewers. Tonight, direct and live from the Maverick News Network World Studios. This is Maverick News with Rick Walker.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the Maverick News channel. Short program tonight, and I'm really just going to talk for a few different reasons. But the focus of tonight's broadcast is the chilling effect censorship in the wake of the Jimmy Kimmel cancellation and the wave of this MAGA cancel culture frenzy that we've been witnessing over the past, weeks. All of it, really coming to a head with the killing of Charlie Kirk. So that's what we're going to do when we come back on the other side of this.
Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are Maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals, defenders of individual rights and freedoms, credible, trusted, grounded in reality. Maverick News, defending free speech, Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
I don't really have much prepared tonight for a few reasons. The first, because I've been busy doing other work to pay the bills. And that's why tonight's broadcast is also going to be short, and there won't be a broadcast tomorrow night because I have to work at other stuff in order to pay the bills, and well, yeah, that's the reality of it. So that will take me away from this because I need to work. So I wasn't going to come on tonight, partly because of that, because I'm busy doing other work, and also because I had prepared some material over the past week in particular. But I'd prepared some material that I think will trigger people. Some people. And then when when I saw yesterday that Jimmy Kimmel was canceled for saying what he had said, I began to review what I had produced. And I was thinking about it, and I thought, wow, this material might potentially get some people pretty darn upset. That's the nature of this business in many respects today, much more so than it used to be. But journalism, I've said, is dead. Real journalism, pretty much. Media has certainly changed, and nothing really prepared me for what I'm going through trying to practice my craft, journalism, at this point in my life, because the medium is different. And I have had a lot of trouble recognizing, seeing what broadcasters like, say, Alex Jones were really all about, or um, Rebel News. What's been going on with mainstream media, even as I left mainstream media, when I left the television network years ago, because I knew there were things changing, and it was just it. I had to get out of there at the time. I just had to. I've talked about it before, but it was difficult to see where everything was going. And that in those days, YouTube was new. All the social media stuff was new. It was putting pressure on mainstream media. The business model of, that they'd use to keep television stations running and newspapers and all the traditional legacy media forms. But to see where it was going, it was beginning to evolve. I remember thinking a lot about Rush Limbaugh at the time, and it's because he was injecting a lot of opinion and political bias into his program, and I would say it was maybe sort of a form of journalism that Rush Limbaugh practiced, but it wasn't like pure field reporting like I always did. But it was still changing the way that I did my job. Where am I going with this? Because everything has changed so much, my style of journalism, the way I approach journalism today, is different. But it changed again overnight because of the veiled censorship. Well, it's pretty obvious what's going on. Trump, his administration, this MAGA movement, they're engaged in a wave of cancel culture. He is purging government of all political opposition, purging every level of government, the entire bureaucracy. If you're not on board, you're gone. We showed you that last night with the former director of the CDC. There for a few weeks and then gone because she wasn't willing to just roll over and rubber stamp things for political purposes. She was trying to apply what she believes is the science before approving things or disapproving things and hiring people, all based on factual scientific information. But RFK Jr. and her locked horns, and he wanted her to just rubber stamp stuff, she says, and so out she goes. So there was that. Then there's Kash Patel testifying about, on the Epstein files. Today he was testifying on national security issues, including terrorism, really threw Canada under the bus, I would say, really for political reasons. As I've watched his testimony over the last few days, it's quite clear. He is not there serving the public interest. He is there to protect the man in the White House and to forward that MAGA agenda, even maybe the 51st state stuff, by helping to create the pretext that will be necessary as Trump begins to maneuver to maybe take over our country, Canada. Oh, no, and our good friend, Joseph Leonard, and the people I speak to on the U.S. side of the border, they're oblivious. I understand. I'm not being critical of Joseph or anybody over there. It's just that you're not being subjected to the information that we're seeing up here, and certainly not what I'm seeing. So they're thinking, oh no, it's just hyperbole, as they put it. No, it's a real thing. And Kash Patel is serving that master. He's not there doing the work of what an FBI director should be doing. And then the firing of Jimmy Kimmel. Because we've got this whole Charlie Kirk martyrdom going on. You are not allowed to say anything negative about Charlie Kirk. If you do, it's a sin, punishable by cancellation or worse. So we've seen people losing their jobs, people canceled, like literally canceled. Jimmy Kimmel canceled. I have always said, that the late night talk shows, I miss the Johnny Carson days when the show was not, the Tonight Show was not really politicized very much. They'd occasionally have some political figure on, but he was not there every night hammering away at politics. It was entertainment. But somewhere along the line, those programs became politicized. So be it. A new form of journalism or activism, propaganda, whatever, but certainly a form of speech, a form of free speech, a form of free expression, whether that's really Jimmy Kimmel's voice that was being used or whether people were putting words in his mouth, who knows? It's big money. But it's canceled. And when I've seen the number of people canceled, losing their jobs, and I don't think it's good form to speak ill of the dead. And I was never a critic of Charlie Kirk. Never paid that much attention to him. I watched his stuff, but I wasn't terribly familiar with him. I didn't really care that much one way or the other. He didn't offend me particularly. He didn't excite me. I just saw him as another conservative influencer with a lot of money and a lot of backing. I would take note of some of the stuff that he would say, and I noticed that, he was a prominent figure, but other than that, I never took much note. So I didn't have strong feelings about him, is what I'm saying. And so now, with him being assassinated in the very public way that he was, I'm taking note. But in a bad way, because I stopped overnight and I said, I don't know if I should use this material that I've been working on. I really did. I self-censored, maybe, because I wasn't sure if I should use the stuff. For fear, not so much of what might come immediately, but what might come even a year, 6 months from now, a year from now. I've had people, even people who have been on this program who just say they were my friends, who have literally threatened me because I've said things they didn't agree with. They've sent me messages. They've left me voicemail messages. They've commented in the chat at times. Some people saying that I will be held accountable. And even some thinly veiled threats suggesting that I might even be hanged in the public square. I'm paraphrasing. Because it's coming for me. And these are people who say they're for freedom. That wasn't enough to scare me into silence. None of that has been. And these kinds of threats, they've gone back now repeatedly for years. I've never complained that much about it. I've mentioned it. I think people who do that are gross. But last night, it was different because this wasn't coming just from someone that I knew, or which maybe is a lot worse because it's very close to home. This was coming really, really straight from the White House, man. Yeah. And I've noticed even Barack Obama this week, over the last 2 days, has stepped forward into the public spotlight again and has been commenting on this stuff, pushing back against it. And then a friend messaged me this morning and said, I truly believe we're going to war. And I sent a message back. And I said, yes, very likely. And this person messaged back and said, all for nothing. My response was yes, because that's very true too. All really for nothing. Because people have things in their heads, ideas. They think that we're going to go to war on the weekend, I guess. Kind of like what we saw over that weekend in Toronto with, what was it, the Christie Pitts reenactment of the big rumble that took place in the 1930s, and the Canada First people up against the left wing, whatever their movement was called, but, went out there to fight. It kind of fizzled out in the end, but it was dramatic. There were some scuffles. And then the attempt to put together that big protest in Ottawa that kind of fizzled out. But it keeps coming back. It keeps coming back. And I'm seeing other stuff online where all this stuff is ramping up. But today, again, everything seemed to be really amplified because as this wave of cancellations and censorship and self-censorship now is happening. I'm looking through YouTube this morning and even later in the day. You know what I'm seeing in all the thumbnails? Everybody's using this. They're all saying civil war. Is civil war coming? Whether it was Steve Paikin, literally like his thumbnail for whatever program he was running today, it's like civil war and a picture of Charlie Kirk. And it was all the way down, all the thumbnails for the suggested videos for me, all like one after another after another. Civil war, is civil war coming? All these references to civil war. This is after I received the message from my friend saying, I truly believe we're going to war. And I've been saying for a long time, we're already at war. This is a hybrid war. We're in the middle of a fifth generation style war, a war the likes of which we've never seen before. It's a form of warfare that we're not prepared for. We don't even recognize it. Most people, the vast majority, don't even realize we're actually in a war. They know that everything is weird and bizarre and they can't figure stuff out. We're in certainly an economic war thanks to all these tariffs from Donald Trump. And Canada has been infiltrated by foreign influence. And people are like, China. No, USA, MAGA. That's what's going on. That's the threat to our sovereignty. That's the existential threat to Canada right there. There's truth for you. Smack dab right in your face. People refuse to see it, and yet I'm not even looking in the chat. And but I've seen people, and particularly on the one channel, saying, well, I'm glad that they're doing all of this stuff because I want secure borders, or I want this, or I want that. And so they have you cheering for authoritarianism. Yeah, but I hate the left and blah, blah, blah. Dudette. Whatever you choose to identify as. I've been also saying that the left-right political spectrum really hardly applied. It's not really accurate anyway. The fascists and the communists belong together over there. You can pick one side or it doesn't matter where you put them on a graph. If you choose, I would put them over on the left together. They're authoritarians. Or you can put them on the extremes, but they wrap around and they meet each other. And you're getting convergence. You're getting this communo-fascistic, populist uprising movement that has now seized control in the States through Trump. And they are doing everything they can to just purge political enemies. Thank you, Stephen Miller. And I never thought I'd see the day. Trump 2.0, very much different than the first Trump presidency. And that's because he has some different people around him and they have a plan. And they're rolling it out. And then people think other people are crazy. What do you mean they've got a plan? Of course they have a plan. Everybody has a plan. And they have a plan. And and it's extensive and they've been working on it. And here we go. We're right in the thick of it now. It's 6 months into this presidency, and look at the way things have changed so rapidly. Yeah, they're executing their plan. And it dovetails. Well, I mean, it's integrated into this really an international plan. I want the globalists to, we got to stop the globalists, put George Soros in jail. I think Trump actually came out and said that in the last 2 days. He wants to put all of his political opponents in jail. Maybe even me, because I've been critical of him because I've seen the change. But I'm a journalist. That's what my job is. And I see people just, they're cheering for this because people's perspectives are warped. It's just like at the convoy, the Freedom Convoy. As we were running all the videos, what really struck me was that you had a very polarized country. People on one side really against it, other people very much for what was going on at that time. The exact same, watching even the same video feeds or whatever, and yet people seeing entirely different things because their perspectives had been skewed. Even now, it's the same thing. It's like, depends on which camp you're in. And then people are like, I want my team to win. And then they're told, don't listen to anybody on the other side. Just they're all lying. Everything they tell you is a lie. And so they stop listening. And then as I'm just in the last few days, since the Charlie Kirk killing, I'm listening to people like, we are all about dialogue and we want open conversation. That's what Charlie Kirk was about. But what are we supposed to do? Because the other side, they just won't listen to us and they want to kill us. So what choice do we have? You have a lot of choices, actually. A lot. I need to take a little break. I'm going to come back on the other side. Stay with me.
Maverick News. The world is watching.
So, yeah, I was going to take the night off because I need to do this other work, but also because I was like, man, I kind of need a break from this insanity, from this madness. But every night I feel like what we're doing here is important, even in our own small way. And so I wanted, ultimately, I said, no, okay, I'm coming on. I'm not going to run a bunch of video clips. I'm not going to do this. I'm just going to talk to you guys just briefly, because I think we all need to really be aware of how significant this moment is. Donald Trump is trying to kill free speech. Everything this guy said that he is for, he's actually against. It's just bloody true. I'm sorry to tell you, but it's true. At least it appears to be true. Says he's for free markets and, but he's not. He's got tariffs. That's the absolute opposite. Not only is that a centralized planned economy, it puts all of the economic tools pretty much, except for interest rates, into his hands. He campaigned and said that he wanted limited immigration, but he was going to keep a big wide door open and blah, blah, blah. And then these people could come in. No, he's deporting. He said he was going to deport people too. And he's doing that. But, I think the budget for ICE is bigger than all the policing agencies in the country combined. That's how extensive this is. And he's like, for freedom? No, he's not. He's just doing an end run around people's freedoms. And by doing that, he's doing an end run around our freedoms, rights. And the free speech stuff? No, he doesn't believe in free speech at all. Today's on Truth Social, cheering, celebrating that Jimmy Kimmel got canceled. Yeah, Kimmel's been very critical of Trump, as they all were. He was doing his job. You may not like it, man, but you're a politician. That comes with the territory. That's, you're in the kitchen. If you can't stand the heat, don't. Oh, I don't like it. So he puts his guy, he puts his handpicked guy in to run the FCC. And then it's like, after the Charlie Kirk assassination, he's like, if you say anything bad about Charlie Kirk, we'll take your broadcast license. Oh, Jimmy Kimmel. And then he puts pressure on, and Kimmel gets canned. Did Brian Kilmeade get canned for saying that homeless people who are poor should be executed by lethal injection? No, he didn't get canceled. No, that was okay. He just said sorry, so it was all right. But there's a double standard out there. Yeah, can you see that? Yeah. I didn't ask for either of them to be fired. And this is the most dangerous of times. If I'm seeing it in soft ways too, because I think in particular, like CBS, their tone has changed in their nightly newscasts. Far less critical. There's a lot of fear out there. A lot of fear. I did a double take, didn't I? Yes, I did. And that's me in my own little world here. Imagine the pressure there must be right now at the network levels for network television. The New York Times sued now. What was it? Trump sued the New York Times for $15 billion. He just sued them. That's not a little tiny chunk of change. That's a major amount of money. $15 billion with a B, suing the New York Times. You think that's trying to shut it down. That's not trying to make a point or get reparations for being treated illegally. Did you illegally slander someone? Libel, slander. No. Just doesn't like what they say. Sue them. $15 billion. No, when you're a politician, you take it on the chin. You don't get to go around suing everybody. I don't even know what the lawsuit's about. He's a very litigious president. And I can say that I think I've been blinded over the years by him portraying himself as a victim. I think we all have. Oh, look at how they're attacking me all the time. No, it's not fair. No fair. No fair. Maybe not the victim that we've all been led to believe he is. Did he go to jail? Oh, no, some other people went to jail. Michael Cohen went to jail. Steve Bannon went to jail. Paul Manafort went to jail. A bunch of people around him went to jail. He didn't go to jail. He didn't go to jail. Is he suffering financially? I don't know. Look at the big ballroom I'm building over here. I'm paying for it too. Look at my new jet. It was a gift. Things are not right. And things are getting dangerous. This is the peace president, we're told, right? Sends the U.S. Navy to Venezuela. And I shouldn't even be laughing. This is disgusting. To blow up fishing boats. Gone to war with the fishing boats in Venezuela with the U.S. Navy. F-35s, drones, destroyers, aircraft carriers, nuclear-powered submarines. He's up against some fishing boats that he says are carrying drugs. But when I listened to Kash Patel today say that Canada is the Canadian border is the biggest source of terrorists coming into the United States. Concern? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Somewhat. I think the fentanyl thing is also a pretext and a construction, a construct, just an excuse. How long before they send their nuclear subs up here to, I don't know, take the fishermen in Long Point Bay on Lake Erie, or whatever. It's ridiculous. But hey, don't do anything to piss off Vladimir Putin. Why? Are you afraid of that? Yeah, he's afraid. He's afraid of Putin. He doesn't want to get into anything where somebody actually might shoot back. Overkill. Well, we talked about that. But the biggest problem right now, censorship. The chilling effect. So I haven't finished preparing the material I was, having second thoughts about. I'm thinking about it. Should I provide it? Should I run it? Should I say it? Should I use it or not? I'm inclined to say, yeah, I'm going to do it. Because in the face of this pressure, it's maybe more important than ever to just go ahead and speak your mind. I can't think of a time when I've ever seen anything like this. Can you? Not in my lifetime. Maybe prior to, well, maybe in the McCarthy era, McCarthyism. What else? Probably, points leading up to and during World War II, likely. Yeah, maybe, but I wasn't alive then. In my living memory, I can't think of a time that has been like this before. And it really does echo what we saw during the pandemic. You can't say anything negative about the jabberoonies. You can't criticize if you say this, you're going to get banned on social media. It's the same damn stuff. It's just that it's like entirely political right now. And so Charlie Kirk is this sacred political cow. And it's not even just what you might say now. It's like if you've said anything even in the past. Charlie Kirk was a political figure. Now, I don't think anybody should be celebrating his death. And I mean, at a certain point, yeah, it becomes so distasteful and gross that I can understand why somebody might lose their gig or be taken off air or canceled in some way, depending on how far you go. But I don't know. It just seems, well, it doesn't, it's not that it seems, it is. It's gone already way too far. They're taking people's voices away and because it isn't really about Charlie Kirk, it's about shutting down, destroying political opposition. We don't like what those people say. We don't like what they saying. They're going to go after all these left-wing NGOs and political organizations that they're saying they want to deem these entities to be terrorist organizations. There's that word again. Right. So what's a terrorist? I mean, even Kash Patel in the hearing today, like the oversight committee, what's a terrorist? They don't define it. Canada is a big problem. We've seen a huge increase. We've closed down that southern border because Trump's saying nobody illegal is getting in at all anymore. It's the most secure border ever. But then so Kash Patel has to acknowledge that what a great job Trump's done down there. But the northern border, that's a big problem. See, you got a lot of terrorists coming in. Lots. Huge problem. And it's such a vast border. You can't secure it. So he's working with those border states to find solutions to the problem. They have to come up with creative solutions to the huge terrorist problem from Canada, because it's just this massive flow of drugs and terrorists coming into the U.S. Better, I don't know, maybe you'd have to invade Canada, something. That'd be a good creative solution. We'll just take over the country. Where are we going with this, man? And please define terrorist. What is a terrorist? Is that, I don't know. Is that Mark Carney? You see the terrorist, liberal? Yes, the liberal terror cells. We have to destroy them. We're going to take them out. Well, that seems to be the exact language that we're hearing from them down there. It seems if you're a liberal, you're a terrorist. Or a socialist. Or as our good friend Joseph, said, the communists. We're a bunch of commies. The commie government of Canada. I believe that Pierre Trudeau was, in his heart, to some degree, a communist. I believe he belonged before becoming a politician. He was a member, I think, of a communist party. And he had these socialistic ideas. So definitely way on the left. And when he became prime minister, he certainly shifted the Liberal Party and the country to the left. But we're not a communist country. And he didn't perform his duties as prime minister as a communist. And I don't believe the Liberal government was ever communist. these phrases are being thrown around, these terms, and not even defined. And I think the people using them largely don't even know what they mean. Fascist, communist, what are they? Most people wouldn't be able to tell you. I'm not sure that even using the phrases is useful at this point because they've been so overused, they become just cliches that just roll over people. Lost in the fog of the information war. What is accurate is that we're experiencing a rise in authoritarianism. And that ain't freedom. And the people cheering for this are people who are supposed to be largely on the freedom side. Certainly in Canada, the freedom movement, the people on the freedom side, I don't know if they can define what freedom is. Everybody seems to throw that phrase around too. What is freedom? I've asked people. We've explored that from time to time over the past few years on this program. And every time we try to talk about it, people have a very hard time defining it. It means different things to different people. And so it's a catchphrase, right? Sounds great. Who used it in the US during the last presidential election? Kamala Harris. Freedom. Check out her rallies. Go look. They got freedom banners up all over the place. She's Democrat. Commie! And if you go back and you look at communist revolutions, they're freedom fighters. But communism is authoritarianism. It's very autocratic. Puts all the power. You think that it's the power to the people. No, it's not. It concentrates all the power to one person, essentially. Certainly to a party. The people become part of a collective. You don't really have any rights when you're part of a collective, not as an individual. You give up your rights to the union of the collective so that everybody gets the same. Where there's power, yeah, there's power in a collective. It's true. You know what else uses a collective to bring people? Fascism. Puts all the power at the top. But they're working for the people. Are they? Yeah. Oh. They're freedom fighters. Yeah, what's freedom? I guess, true freedom is being on your own. But that also means you're then entirely responsible for you. You're not part of a collective. So there's always some balance, right? I'm free. I don't owe anybody anything. Nobody owes me anything. So that would make me completely free as an individual. Be on an island, all alone. Robinson Crusoe. Is he free? If you're part of a, I don't know. That's not the point of tonight's conversation. The point is, we're in a yesterday was a milestone moment, a pivotal moment in all of this. And I just see people on teams. I'm on the MAGA side, or I'm on the NDP side, or I'm on the liberal side, or I'm on Team Conservative, or I'm on the Democrat side, or whatever. I'm on the PPC side in Canada. I'm on this team. And no matter what they do, I'm going to back that up. I believe in that. That's what I see going on. That in itself is dangerous. And I see people saying, well, I don't trust the mainstream media because they always lie to me. They always lie. And so I'm a critical thinker and I know what's going on because I've done my research, because I watched a bunch of videos online. And so now I know what's going on. Not necessarily. I watch Tucker Carlson selling nicotine. He has his own brand now. He's supposed to be a freedom guy, right? Conservative. No, he's not. He's all about this, about the moolah. It sure as hell isn't about freedom when you're selling nicotine. And some of these people have been peddling. This is something I was going to do a whole program on. We'll probably will in greater depth, because I find it really distasteful what he's doing. Not just him, but some others too. I noticed during the pandemic, near the tail end, there were studies that came out that said nicotine, just the nicotine, helped prevent you from getting cancer, or sorry, COVID. And a lot of claims made about nicotine and how it's supposed to be good for you. It's healthy. It's there's no health risks, and you've been lied to, and it doesn't cause cancer. It doesn't cause heart disease. La 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 la. And so Tucker Carlson, who's I think a chain smoker and has been since he was a kid, or he quit a few years ago, I guess, but likes cigarettes, and he's been out there even singing the praises of tobacco and cigarettes, and then now just nicotine pouches. And so he was getting paid, I'm pretty sure, by, was it Zen or whatever this company is? He was getting paid by them. His deal must have fallen apart. Now he has his own brand. And so he's been peddling that. And I was watching, as I was thinking about this, watching some of his promotional videos that just look like he's in his studio talking about politics, but he's talking about his new brand of nicotine pouches. And I could tell, because I'm in the media business and no media production, it was produced by a production house, probably, I don't know for sure which one, but whoever did it, they work for the lifestyle channels, and they're producing content for him as well as for these lifestyle channels, like the house, the home renovation shows, and if you look at the automotive programs, and so on, you've got like what are they? I don't watch a lot of it anymore. Pawn Stars, just all that stuff in that vein. The auction programs, the antiques guys that ran around. The production style is the same. It's those guys. They're producing it for him. There's several companies that do it. I could tell by the style. And what's he peddling? It's the same people that brought you cigarettes and told you back in the 1950s that cigarettes were good for you, and if you were pregnant, you should smoke because it would help relax you. And before that too, because the tobacco company, the big tobacco, and now you realize that it causes lung cancer and emphysema and all kinds of other terrible health problems. But you're free to do it if you want to. You're free to smoke until you get addicted. That's not freedom. Now you're addicted. Now you're enslaved to the cancer sticks. Well, what do you think Tucker Carlson is doing? He's enslaving you. He's selling you a product that results in addiction. That is evil. Telling you it's good for you, that it increases mental acuity. That may well be even true. It may make you more aware. I don't use it. I can't say for sure. The reason I don't use it is because I know that if I use it, I'll get addicted to it. And then I won't have a choice. Whether I use it or I don't, I'll need it because I'll be addicted to it. Thank you, Tucker Carlson. You know how much money that guy's worth? You know how much money that nicotine company is worth? Tens of millions, hundreds of millions, maybe. Tens of millions, for sure. And he's peddling it on his program. And he's not alone. He's in it in a partnership. And if you go back and you look at the ownership structure of the company that's behind it all, what are you going to find? You're going to find a big corporation, and ultimately it leads back to the same companies like probably Philip Morris, tobacco company, because they're just selling you the nicotine from the tobacco plants. It's just a new way to deliver the same drug to get you addicted so that you keep on using it. It's just a new form of chewing tobacco without it actually being in tobacco. Now it's just pure nicotine. Probably more potent and probably way more addictive. He says in the one promotional video, not going to lie to you. No? Okay. I think that there are health implications associated with the use of nicotine, because it does things to like your blood pressure, dilation, your veins, your arteries, your heart rate. You use it over time, you'll experience health effects. I'm not a doctor. I can't say for sure exactly what the long-term impact from using nicotine pouches might be, but I do know one thing, and this is certain. You will get addicted. And it is one of the most addictive substances known to man. That's why they sell it to you. And if it's not him selling nicotine pouches today, it's somebody else that a lot of people trust and believe that, he's trying to steer you right. Alex Jones selling what? Methylene blue? You know what they make that stuff from? I looked it up. Coal tar. Yeah, that's the stuff that, I use as you use it to seal cracks on your roof. It's like tar, and it's carcinogenic. And I don't know that methylene blue is necessarily carcinogenic. There's not a whole lot known because I think they need to do more studies on it, but I know this turns your brain blue. Do you need that in your body? Should you trust somebody who's selling you methylene blue? While they complain about the drug dealers coming from Venezuela and they have to blow up those boats, but they're peddling nicotine pouches and methylene blue and appearing on each other's programs, using the controversy that's ripping the country apart to generate clicks and ratings so they can sell you stuff, sell you drugs that get you hooked, so they enslave you. And God knows what it's doing to your brain while you stuff nicotine pouches and methylene blue in your veins through osmosis, ingestion, and then they bombard you with crazy messages. And I don't know what else they're doing to us right now, but it ain't good, because the country, our countries, the world is in a state of, well, not just War, but chaos. That's the other word that I noticed coming up in the YouTube thumbnails repeatedly this morning. Chaos. And as I'm trying to absorb all this, I sort of forgotten about this already, but now it comes to mind because I can hear my companion up there, Cosmo. He wants to go for a walk, and I took him for a walk this morning. And as I'm walking along, being a Canuckstanian, I look down and I noticed for the first time that the leaves started to change color. And there, right in front of me on the sidewalk, a red maple leaf. It turned red. And I picked that leaf up and I looked at it and I said, that leaf is perfect. Because it was just so beautiful. And it was vibrant red, like deep vibrant red. And it was just perfect. And it wasn't a huge leaf. It was just a small red maple leaf. And the color was completely even. And even though it had fallen from the tree and was on the ground, it didn't have a blemish on it. And I picked that leaf up and I put it in my pocket. I tried not to crease it. I was going to show you tonight. I put it in my pocket and I got about a half a block and it blew out of my pocket. And I thought, and I went, I lost my leaf. And then I was thinking of It's a Wonderful Life and Zuzu's Petals. My mind goes in all these crazy places. And I lost my leaf, my perfect leaf. And then and Cosmo wanted to keep walking, so I'll look for it on the way back. That didn't work out so well. On the way back, I'm looking for my leaf, and there's leaves all over the ground. And that made me also think, it's like, is it leaves or leafs? It's like the Toronto Maple Leafs. Shouldn't it be the Toronto Maple Leaves? But anyway. And I searched for my leaf. And I searched and and I'm looking everywhere. And it's all these leaves. And I'm picking up all these leaves. I'm like, no, that's it. No, it's got a black spot right there. Or that's it. No, that one. No, this one's been off the tree too long. It's starting to turn a little brown on the edge. Or that one. No, some bug ate a hole in that one. I couldn't find my leaf. I was like, I have to show everyone the perfect red Canadian maple leaf. I couldn't find it. But then I started to think, doesn't matter, man. It doesn't matter. Because the leaves or leaves, they just prove what it illustrates what I've been talking about for everyone with regard to collectivism. I don't even have to show you the damn leaf. I'm sorry it was beautiful, but you know what? Then I started to think, all these leaves are beautiful, like every single one of them. And just like a snowflake, every single leaf, every single one is unique. Now, they're all kind of red right now. Some of them are still kind of green. They're just starting to turn here, and it's beautiful. And it makes me sad because it's the end of summer and I don't like winter. I hate the winter. As much as I love beautiful snowflakes, but these leaves, every single one is unique, and yet part of a whole. They all came from maple trees, all in my neighborhood, and I live in the Maple City. That's what they call this place, Chatham, Ontario, the Maple City. There's maple trees everywhere here. And I was like, every one of these damn leaves, every single one is beautiful. And it's just like, the grain in wood. That's what makes it beautiful. It's all random and yet uniform and organized. Nature has organized all of this stuff, but it's the imperfections, the knots in the wood, everything about it that makes it unique. And that's what makes it beautiful. And every single leaf, all part of something, but each one an individual. Beautiful in its own way, beautiful in its imperfection, because it signals the circle of life. And at one moment, perfect visually to me as a human being and my subjective analysis of it. I picked the leaf up and that thing is it's just so beautiful. It's like, it looks perfect, like youth. And yet it's not, because it's mature and it's fallen and it's dying, right? But it's beautiful, perfect, symmetrical, even color, not a blemish. But it's dying. And soon that one will have a spot, but still be beautiful. And it'll turn brown around the edges, and it will slowly fade. And it will very shortly turn completely brown and shrivel up and get hard and crusty and turn to dust. But it's okay. It's going to go into the ground and from which it came, and it's going to feed the trees and the grass and the flowers next spring, and it's all going to start again. Every single molecule, every single atom, every cell, unique, and yet all part of something. But you can't get caught up in the collectivism, in all the subjective analysis, and you can't hold something to that, because every single thing is unique at that moment. I'm me, you're you. I'm a journalist. I'm a dad. I'm a dog owner. I'm a Canadian. I'm this, I'm that, I'm all these different things. And that's what makes me, me. And you have the things that make you, you. But we all are together in, we're all part of a community too. And that's the point that I made the other night. That's what seeing that perfect leaf on the ground made me think of. And Zuzu's pedals. Jimmy Stewart, It's a Wonderful Life. Those were the days. I don't know what it means other than, it's going to be okay, because I just unplugged from the matrix, went outside. I did touch the tree. I did hug the tree. I picked up that leaf. It made me think. But I wasn't watching some video online. I didn't have Tucker Carlson telling me that the mainstream media, they always lie to you. You should listen to me. Buy my nicotine. It wasn't Alex Jones telling me that people have lizard brains and the politicians are all trying to kill us with this chemical or that chemtrail or whatever it is that he's, on about today. It was just me in my neighborhood walking around, and I picked up a leaf. And then I thought about my friend who's worried about war coming And I've thought about all this other stuff that I see people going on about online, and the censorship and the chilling effect. I'm just sharing it with you because it kept me grounded for a moment, and it gave me hope and a little bit of courage too, because it just reminded me that all this crap, it's just the will of some crazy people with way too much power, way too much money, trying to assert their will on us. Now I'm starting to sound like a communist. Freedom fighter revolution. No. I'm just saying, let's keep it in perspective. We have choices. We don't have to follow the mob. Critical thinking isn't always about watching some video. It's about getting grounded, reflecting on what's going on. I won't be here tomorrow because I have to work. Got another gig for a day, and it's an important one, so I have to go do that. So I do apologize in advance, but I'll be back Saturday, I think. Should be, as long as everybody is still around. And between now and then, I'm going to work on building up my courage so that when I come back, we can stand against this censorship, this tyranny, this chilling effect together as individuals, united in a cause. Love you guys. Thank you. See you Saturday on the flip side.
Drifting down without a sound, a gentle touch upon the ground. No two the same, yet side by side, like you and me in this great tide. Like a fingerprint from God, frozen tears from up above. Each one special, each one rare, a fleeting wonder, light as air. Here for a moment, then melting away. Gone in the sunlight, lost in the day. Taken for granted, so easy to miss. Like life itself, so fragile as this. A million fall, yet each stands true. A perfect shape, a different hue. Just like us, no two alike. A spark of life, a soul in flight. Like a fish So fragile is this, a million falling, yet each stands true. A perfect shape, a different hue. Just like us, no two alike. Like life itself, so fragile is this. Like you, like me, we shine, we fade, yet every soul is beautifully made. A moment to love, a moment to stay, before we drift, before we stray. Cherish the snowflakes, here only for a moment, then melt away.
This has been a Maverick Multimedia production.